Hello, Victor here again, RestoringMercedes.com. Today I have 600 SEL here on the ramp, and I decided to weld a hole in the exhaust. So while at it, also I loosened up the engine mount, so it's easier to remove later on, right? So that is the reason I'm doing this now, is because it's actually pretty loud. And starting the car in between houses, it's kind of loud. It's just, neighbors don't like it. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. So now I had the right side exhaust, the catalytic, the front section removed. I don't know if camera will pick that up. Yeah, well, it's not picking it up. Try to get the light. This light is disconnected right now. Let's see if I get another light. Alright, so here I have another light. Now I'm gonna have to keep moving, so that's why I'm gonna make this video the way it's gonna come out. I don't know, but it is what it is. Now, this was a challenge because this exhaust has been on the car forever. Obviously it's original, so it was really rusty. Had to break out the seal. These are all on order, but I'm gonna drop the exhaust in with no seals for now anyway. And you can see there is no muffler, not the muffler, the catalytic, and the pipes that go to the manifolds themselves, exhaust manifolds. Now let's take a look what's happening with it. This pipe was very difficult to separate because I don't really want to break anything, but the clamps, these are gunners, so I had to cut it. I have new ones on order, the clamshell design ones, so you can open them up, put it over the pipe, and then close them, because this particular clamp would go over here, so the clamp would be put on, and then the pipe would be enlarged, so you cannot put a solid clamp back on, because it's just not gonna make it diameter wise. As you can see, it's just too small. But the ones that open up, they will work just fine. Also, the gaskets, the metal gaskets that go in here, they're also on order. Manifold connecting clamp is good. This is nice. Now, as for the exhaust problem, well, obviously I had to clean up a little bit of the pipes themselves so they can be installed back and forth, and of course I'm going to put anti-seize on this, because I want to remove this exhaust later on anyway, the catalytic. So here is the source of the exhaust noise. We can clearly see pipe just rotted out, right? And also over here in between, you can't see it, but I can. So these two pipes, they join into one, and then they go into the catalytic. So what I'm gonna do with this for now is I'm going to weld them together. I'm gonna start welding it from here, run the bead all over, and then here I'm gonna just join two together and weld it all around. Yes, the cracks are gonna be there, but you know what, this is gonna last some time, and I just don't want to replace this. This is a very expensive piece. Used ones are not available really, because everybody sells these catalytic converters. This is an expensive catalytic converter. It's a huge one, it's heavy, and so obviously they're all sold. But I do have this catalytic in good condition. The only problem with the one that I have, the spare one, I actually have two, left and right side. The only problem with the spare is that this pipe is cut off of that spare catalytic. So the pipe on that one has to be rejoined, right? Like it has to be welded together. That I might do that later on. Just install that catalytic. I will just cut this pipe off, because this one is in perfect shape. The pipe on the other one is cut somewhere like here or here, I don't remember, but the frontal section here is fine, so I can totally cut it and then weld it to the other one, except that the problem is it's just to weld it so precisely, so it's just because this pipe is solid, right, so it does not disconnect like this one. Yes, I have a little bit of leeway here at the exhaust manifold itself, because there's like a little conus, so it just kind of tilts a little bit, but you know, it's just an extra work. I would rather just like weld it together, and that's what I just did. I prepped it so I can start welding it, and today I do want to put it back real quick, and later on obviously it's going to be easy for me to remove the exhaust because it's already been removed and, you know, taken apart, so everything will come off easier. And I'm not gonna go crazy with tightening the bolts. These obviously have to be cleaned up. Threads have to be lubricated with anti-seize and whatnot. So, but these bolts, these are exhaust manifold bolts, they came out nice. The attachment point between two catalytics is present here. The rear one is broken, so, but it doesn't really matter, those pipes stay together fine. And this one is actually nice to have, so this one is present. The bracket is also present, although I'm gonna just run another bead of welder over it, because I'm not certain if this is factory, see the weld drops here, or if somebody already re-welded this back. I can't say because it's just kind of strange, you know, but anyway, I'll do it. I mean, you know, it is what it is. And then when the rest of the parts will come in, I'm waiting for new starter, engine mounts, motor mounts, all of these brackets, the clamps and what have you, so I can finish this exhaust. Then obviously I'll remove it and you know, put all the seals back in and then tighten it up finally. And while I have this exhaust off, I will actually replace the motor mount on the right side, because the exhaust is out. It's much easier to pull the mount outwards without I mean, it's just easier, all right, put it that way. In terms of the starter itself, well, I did remove the starter already. I put it together and I put it back together so it can actually be started, but that starter is burnt up. So is it easier to do with the exhaust out? Absolutely it is. As you can see, the bolts are right there, and I don't know if the camera picks it up. I think it does. There's one bolt right here, another bolt right on top of the manifold. So that is what I'm going to actually do, the starter and the engine mounts all together. Right now I'll put the exhaust back in just temporarily, weld it in, put it in, and then I'll remove it again because it's going to be easy to remove because it's already loose. And then I'll get the starter replaced and the motor mount on the right side done, and get rid of this green wire that somebody put in, and that's it. So I will be done on the right side here under the car. All right, that's the plan, at least, because I do want to run the engine as much as I can before I finish with the work under the car. And yeah, that's the idea. All right, well, there was some oil leak. I put some silicone over it so it doesn't leak anymore. So apparently there was some problems there on the right side, on the left side in the front. So some oil came out and it just made all this front dirty, so I had to wash it. And that is done. And the engine wash, of course, that's going to be later, than not now. I just need to do these brutal jobs. And even though the exhaust is laying here on the cement here, it looks so easy. This took me hours, literally. Well, because first of all, I have no lift, so you know, that's a difficulty. And then I didn't want to remove the whole exhaust, so I wanted to remove just the catalytic converter with the pipe, you know, just the manifolds and catalytic converter. So for that very reason, that pipe has to come out first, so you have a little bit of room. And then that was frozen, and this one was frozen from the catalytic converter to the resonator pipe. So it was really brutal, but it is a result. So I'll move on with the welding next, and maybe I'll make another addition when I start the engine, and we can listen how it sounds, because before it's just that you have the holes right off the exhaust manifolds. So it's like, it's not past the catalytic. It would have been quieter if it would have been leaking back behind there, but no, it's just right at the source. And the noise is just like, you start it up, all my cats run away because they're like, well, open exhaust basically. Okay, so this is all for now. I'll keep going and move along. All right, so I just welded this section here, and I sprayed it with some high heat paint. Now, I'm not the welder, right? I'm not a professional welder or anything like that, so this is the way it came out. Could have been done better, of course, but I was using the flux wire weld, which is absolutely not proper for this application. It burns the metal straight through. But you know, I've done it before. If you're careful enough, you sure can actually make it happen. So I did make it happen. On top here, there's more blobs and whatever. Now, I could have cleaned this off, but the thing is, it's getting late and I don't want to use the grinder anymore because it's going to be too much. And again, this thing is probably going to come out again because whatever reasons I already explained. And that's that. So for that reason, I'm probably going to grind it down. I got to get some black paint now this time. I just had silver left. High heat, only silver. So I just sprayed it with something versus nothing. Now this pipe I coated with anti-seize, the copper one. The rear, well, I just ordered some anti-seize, and the guy supposed to bring it to me, but then he didn't make it, so it's just like whatever I had left. So I just used the regular silver one at the end here because it's cooler than the front. Front is the exhaust manifold, so that one is just at least something for now to put this thing back in. And I would save some anti-seize for the manifold bolts, copper one. And that's because it's a high heat one. And now we're going to put on the exhaust, I mean the catalytic converter, back in the car, bolt it in temporarily, and start it up and see how it sounds, because I do want to get this thing off the ramp, and I do want to start it and move it back so it's out of the way here. Alright, so now it is getting late and lights already kicked in, outdoor lights, so I have to cut it quits for now. Now the catalytic converter is installed, and the seal here is missing, clamps are missing here. The exhaust manifolds, those are tightened up slightly, not too much, and the seal on the back is missing also. You can see it, but it's not there because that clamp is all messed up. Center support here is tightened up. Transmission support is not. Oxygen sensor is connected, so this is our baseline, and that should do just fine for now. The intake air cleaner is not present for the moment, because without that air cleaner assembly you can actually see a little more down under there, right? So let's just get this thing started for the first time. Battery was disconnected because exhaust is so close to the starter, and the starter feed is always live, you know, and because it's always live, if I move that exhaust pipe left, right, and it touches the positive terminal of the starter, it would have been bad news. So for that very reason, the battery would have, you know, I disconnected the battery. There goes our power. You know, I'm not gonna probably even, all right, fine, I mean, I already have the wrench with me. I just want one turn. Okay, now I fixed the soft close. I'm happy about that. Well, let's just see what's gonna happen now. The car has some other issues, but at least now yep, much nicer. Oh my god, day and night. If you remember before, it It was so loud, it was hideous. And I have no seals on the exhaust either, so RPMs don't mind that I have to deal with later. But yeah, something wrong with the heater control valve. It's clicking. The rear heater control valve, I gotta deal with that later. But exhaust is #1 thing right now. So this is it. This is how it's going to be left for now. Let's just wait for the air pump to shut off, and then we'll see how it runs once it warms up a little bit. Master airflow sensor is loose, and extra air from the fan blows into it, but whatever, like I said, that's not my concern. My thing is that now, when the engine warms up and the air pump shuts off, it's going to run quiet and not going to disturb anybody. I'm going to double check right now under the car again before I roll it back off the ramp, just to feel out if there are any kind of air exhaust leaks around the area that was welded, because exhaust comes out, next I can re-weld it again. And I actually will probably re-weld it again, just for good measure. When I was welding, I actually ran out of wire, and I have another wire, a spool. I didn't feel like getting it and whatever, so I was like, okay, let me just leave it the way it is. I know it's going to be much nicer regardless. I'm just still waiting for the air pump. Air pumps on these cars, mechanical air pumps, they are quite loud, that is true. Quite annoying, but it is what it is. This is an older car, so the air pump is, there goes. No more air pump. Well, we can live with that. That clicking is so annoying. I think I'm gonna get to that in a minute. You hear that clicking? All right, let's see. Wow. Oh, hello. It's the other side now. Oh, come on now. Well, take a look at that. You see this? The noise is now not even from the side that I repaired. I mean, patched up rather, right? But it's from the other side because I was moving the exhaust and it's leaking right here, clearly. Well, off I go on the other side, right, after this. But that is quiet, much quieter than what it was. My side here, as you can see, a little moisture coming out, that's normal. But that's, well, it's all broken, as you can see it. But anyway, it appears that this area is more or less decent, so I'm happy with the result for today. That's enough for me. Been working on this for so long. That sound, like you barely hear it. Just the engine. That's nice. The engine runs like a sewing machine. Very good. Okay, so I have to clean up, get something to eat, and oh yeah, I think I'm going to deal with that clicking sound. That's just like bothers me a lot right now. I'm probably gonna pull the fuse for now. Again, this is just the third day I'm on this, so it's a very limited amount of time that I spend on it, but so far it actually, I mean, I've seen cars that are way worse and people drive them daily, whereas this one right here, this, like, I don't like the way, whatever, but some people drive cars that are in worse shape than what it is right now after 3 days. they're pretty happy about it, but I'm not happy about this. I know how it's supposed to be, so this is not right, but at least we have a result here, so this thing can run. And that last seal, I think I ordered that seal. Yeah, I think I did. Anyway, all right, so this is it. This is the end of the day. Victor here, RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.